Hi, in this video you will learn how to solve question 5 of 2019 November paper 1 for Computer Applications Technology. Link to the paper and files is provided in description section below the video. If you need to see solution for specific sub-question, click on the timestamps in the description. Open the 5 survey database, which contains data obtained from a survey completed by visitors to Agra. Double-click on File 5 Survey to open it. Question 5.1. Edit the table info table in design view as follows. Move the primary key from the code field to the survey number field. Right-click on Table Info and select Design View. Click on Field Code and then in Design tab, click on Primary Key icon to remove primary key from this field. Click on the field survey number and then on primary key to add primary key to this field. Doing so will get you 1 mark. Question 5.1.2. Move the name field so that it appears after the surname field. Click on gray area in front of the name field. Drag and drop it below the field surname. This question is also for 1 mark. Question 5.1.3. Create an input mask on the code field to ensure that the user inserts a code in the required format. Note: study the data in the code field in datasheet view before creating the input mask. First, let's change the view from design view to datasheet view to analyze the code structure. Click yes if you will be asked whether the table should be saved or not. First character in the code is an uppercase letter. Then we have 4 digits. The last character in the first row is a closing square bracket. In the second row, it is a digit. The third row doesn't have any character at all. If we summarize the code structure, it consists of an uppercase letter trailed by 4 compulsory digits and then by any optional character. Now let's change back to design view. Click on a code field. From field properties, select input mask. On the right side, you can see input mask character sheet from the exam paper. It will be our guideline for this sub-question. First character must be an uppercase letter. A greater sign transforms all the trailing letters to uppercase. To specify that the letter is compulsory, we type uppercase L. To get 4 compulsory digits, we type 4 zeros. Finally, for any optional character or space, we type uppercase C. Mark allocation for this question is as follows. 1 mark for greater sign, 1 mark for uppercase letter L, 1 mark for 4 zeros, and 1 mark for uppercase C. Question 5.1.4. A validation rule was set on the date-in field. Insert appropriate validation text for the date-in field. From table info, select the field date-in. In field properties, click on validation text. To get full mark for this question, we need to write a sentence which specifies that the inserted text must be between the date specified in validation rule. I will type here, date inserted must be between 12th of December 2017 and 10th of October 2019. For each correct date, you will get 1 mark. Question 5.1.5. The days field contains a calculation that attempts to determine the number of days a tourist spent in Agra. Correct the calculation so that the days are not negative. From the table info, select the field days. In Field Properties section, select the expression. To correct the calculation, we must swap the order of dates. From date in minus date out, change the formula to date out minus date in. This question is for 1 mark. Question 5.1.6. Change the format of the will return field to true or false. First, select field will return, and then in Field Properties, click on Format. In the second column, click on arrow on the right side to display a list of options. Select true or false. This question is also for 1 mark. Save and close the table info table. Question 5.2. Open the Form 5.2 based on the table info table in Design View and do the following. On the left side of the screen, right-click on Form 5.2 and then select Design View. Add your examination number to the form header. In the Design tab, click on Label and then select an area in Form Header to insert an examination number. Type your examination number. This task is for 1 mark. Ensure that the Date In field does not display a date picker in Form View. Change the view to Form View. Click on Date In field. You will notice that a calendar icon appears next to it. If you click on this arrow, a date picker will pop up. Your task is to remove this feature. Go back to Design View. Click on Date In field on the form. In Property Sheet on the right side of the screen, click on Show Date Picker and then on the arrow next to it to display list of options. Choose Never. To make sure that everything is done properly, switch to Form View and try to select Date In again. Calendar icon is not displayed. Setting the property of Show Date Picker to Never will get you 1 mark. Insert a combo box to display the traveler types. Use the options stored in Table Options. Link the combo box to the traveler type field. Ignore the text in the label. Go back to Design View. From the Design tab, select Combo Box. Select an area where you want to place it. Once you release your mouse, a dialog box will pop up. We want to get our options from a table, so choose first option. Click Next. Here we select Table Options table as mentioned in the question and proceed to the next step. There is only one field in this table. Move it to the selected field by clicking on the arrow between 2 text boxes. Click Next 3 times. We need to link these values to the Traveler Type field. From the combo box on the screen, select Traveler Type. Click on Next and ignore the label by clicking on Finish. Mark allocation for this task is as follows. 1 mark for inserting a field on the form, 1 mark for inserting it as a combo box, 1 mark for using table options as source, and 1 mark for linking it to the field traveler type. Do not display the page header and the page footer. For the last task in this question, right-click on the form and from the menu, deselect page header or footer option. It will get you last mark for question 5.2. Save and close the form 5.2. Question 5.3. Open the query 5.3 in Design View and modify it as follows. Right-click on query 5.3 and open it in Design View. Display only ratings of 5. Add 5 as criteria for the field rating. Run the query to test it. Only fields with 5 as a rating are displayed. Switch back to Design View. Group the query on the average of the estimate amount field. For the second task, first add estimate amount field into the query by double-clicking on it in Table Info. To be able to group the query on a specific field, first in Design tab, click on icon Totals. It will add another row into the query section, which can be used to group the data. Click on the arrow next to Group By in the column Estimate Amount and select AVG to group it by average. Ensure that the amounts in the estimate amount field display 2 decimal places. While estimate amount field is still selected, in the property sheet, change the format to currency. It will automatically display the field with 2 decimals only. Run the query to see if everything is done properly. We have 3 rows with their ratings being 5. And we have averages which are displayed with 2 decimals only. Save and close the query 5.3. For adding 5 as criteria to the rating field, you can get 1 mark. Inserting estimate amount field into the query will get you another one. Switching totals row on will result with 3rd mark. 4th mark will be allocated for grouping the query according to average of estimate amount. And the last mark for changing format to currency. Question 5.4. Open the query 5.4 in Design View and do the following. Right-click on query 5.4 and open it in Design View. Display the records of the tourists whose code starts with the letter S and ends with the number 0. Position your cursor in criteria for field code. Typing S as a first letter in criteria will specify that we need all records having S as a code. We are not sure about how many characters will be in each of these codes. So we use asterisk sign to represent unknown number of characters. And finally, we want the code to end with 0. Completing each of these steps will get you 1 mark. Display the records of the tourists whose reaction was anything other than unmoved. Now let's apply criteria for reaction field. If you type unmoved in the criteria area, save and run the query, it will display the rows with unmoved as a reaction. Let's switch back to Design View. Type not in front of the criterion for reaction. Save the query and run it. All the rows with code starting with S, ending with 0, and not having unmoved as reaction will be displayed. Close the query 5.4. Question 5.5. Open the query 5.5 in design view and do the following. Right-click on query 5.5 and open it in design view. Display only female tourists. Pass female as criteria for gender. Run the query to confirm that only female tourists are displayed. Switch back to design view. Completing this step will get you 1 mark. Modify the reaction field in the query to become a calculated field called code letter. This calculated field should display only the first character of the reaction field. Let's first extend the width of the field reaction to have more space to type. Replace the text reaction with code letter. To specify that it is a calculated field, put colon next to the field name. We only need the first letter of the reaction field. To get certain number of characters from the beginning of a text, access uses function left. As a first parameter, we type the name of field from which we will extract the characters. We need first character of field reaction. In formulas, field names must be typed in between square brackets. As a second parameter, we pass number of required characters. We need only the first character, so type 1. Run the query for testing purposes. If everything is okay, switch to design view. Mark allocation for this task is as follows. 1 mark for adding a calculated field code letter, 1 mark for function left, 1 mark for using field reaction as parameter in this function, 1 mark for using 1 as a third parameter to specify number of characters to be displayed, and the last mark if reaction field appears only in the formula for code letter. Display only the name and surname fields and the calculated field code letter. We still need field gender in our query to specify that we need only list of female tourists. But we don't need it to be displayed, so make sure that gender is not shown in our query. Save and run the query to see if there are any errors or no. This task is for 1 mark. Close the query 5.5. Question 5.6. Open the report 5.6 in design view and do the following. Right-click on report 5.6 and open it in design view. Remove the estimate amount grouping. At the bottom of the page, you can see a section for grouping, sorting, and totals. If it is not there, click on Group and Sort icon in Design tab. Click on Delete icon next to Group on Estimate Amount. Choose Yes. This will provide you 1 mark. Even though it is not necessary, let's do some adjustments on the report page. In the long run, it will make our life much easier. In the section for page header, move Traveler type to the left. Select Label from Design tab and place it in between Traveler type and name. Type Estimate Amount. You can play with position to adjust it properly. Move Estimate Amount from the section Traveler type header to Detail. Finally, Move the field traveler type in header section to the left. Insert a function in the traveler type group footer to determine the total estimated amount per traveler type. To insert a function in the traveler type group footer, first we need to display it. To do so, click on More next to Group on Traveler Type. Extra options will be displayed. By default, groupings are displayed without a footer section. Click on an arrow next to this text and select the option with a footer section. Traveler type footer will be added on the form. In the Design tab, click on Text Box Control. Place it on the section we have just created. Inside the text box, type function sum to get the total and pass estimate amount as a parameter. Make sure that field name is placed inside square brackets. For this task, 1 mark has been allocated for using function sum, 1 mark for passing estimate amount as a parameter, and 1 mark for placing the function in traveler type footer. Add a suitable label for the function. Select the text on the label for the function. Replace it with a suitable text which refers to the function. I will type total estimate amount per traveler type. The label may overlap with the function. If so, drag the label to the left by clicking and holding the gray square at the left top. This task is also for 1 mark. Change the font of the estimate amount field to italic. In the header section for traveler type, click on Field Estimate Amount. Then, click on Format tab. Change the font to italic to get the last mark for this question. Save the report and open it in Report View to see all the changes. Estimate amounts are displayed as italic, and if we scroll down, we can notice that the sum is displayed per specific traveler type. Close the report 5-6. We are done with question 5 for 2019 CAT paper 1. In the next video, I will show you how to solve question 6.